The Maruti Suzuki Celerio has been a very successful car for Maruti Suzuki. And people who did not opt for the Alto, they would want a powerful car, they would go for the Celerio. And since its launch, Celerio has raked in a lot of sales numbers. However, the car was due for an update, and after multiple delays, thanks to the pandemic, we finally have the new 2021 Maruti Suzuki Celerio with us. Now, before we talk more about the new Celerio, subscribe to Motoroids and hit that bell notification icon so that you get notified whenever we upload our next video. Also, follow us on Instagram, on Facebook to get all the latest updates on all automotive content. So let's get started with the first impressions of the all-new Celerio. Now, first of all, let's talk about the design of the all-new Celerio. And as you can see, it has been completely changed. It now has an oval grille with these chrome strips that run across to the center to the Suzuki logo. Also, you will see a lot of black elements on the car, which gives it a sportier look, like this black plastic cladding on the bumper. So it gives it a dual tone look. You also have this new grille right here and some air intake right here. Now you also get these nice triangular swept back headlights, which are halogen, they are not LED, and you also get fog lamps on the top version. So this is the top of the line ZXi Plus variant, so this will have all the kit and all the features available in the top car. Now if you move to the side, the first thing that will grab your attention are these nice blacked out 15-inch alloy wheels. The tires here are 175 by 60 section tires, both on the front and rear. Now the alloy wheels are available on the top variants, and they are also a part of an accessory package. And you have this nice crease lines on the wheel arches. Moving behind, you get body colored ORVMs with integrated turn indicators. There is also a request sensor, so you have keyless entry and go. Now the request sensor is available both on the driver and front passenger. There is a request sensor for the boot opening as well, which is a very good feature. Now Maruti has changed the door handles for this Celerio. If you remember, the old Celerio had the pull handles, but this has the flap type door handles. This is if you want to lock and lock the car with your key, using your key in case the battery on your remote dies. Not much of body cladding on the side. There's only this crease here which goes all the way back and extends to the wheel arch crease at the rear as well. Now the B pillar also is blacked out here, but there is no black paint or black strips on the door rims right here, on both the front and the back door rims. There is no black stickering or black color on the C pillar either. Now if you look at the back as well, the Celerio looks completely different. All in all, I would say that the car is completely new after the facelift. If you see the interiors also, which we will show you in a while, everything is completely new. Starting from the top, you will get a rear wiper washer here. There is no integrated spoiler or any kind of spoiler of sorts here. It is available in the accessory package, however. Then you have the high stop lamp. Then you have the rear glass area, which is integrated with the defogger. If you move down, you get the Suzuki logo right here, Celerio branding, and a request sensor to open the boot. You need to have the key in your pocket, and you can just press this sensor and the boot will be open for you. Now the tail lamps, they are completely redesigned and they look like a flame right here. They get halogen bulbs. There is no LED right here. And if you move down, you'll find these reflectors with parking sensors integrated in them, number plate, and there is no black cladding here like you get in the front. So what Suzuki is trying to do with the new Celerio is give it a more youthful look so that it appeals to the youth, and more young people, first time car buyers, will go ahead and buy the Celerio. Now let's talk about the boot space on the Celerio. It gets a massive 313 liter boot, which is a fairly deep. It has got a huge loading lip, but you sure can store a lot of luggage. You can easily carry one full size bag, one medium size bag, and maybe two cabin bags very easily. If you need more space, you get a 60-40 split. You just lay the seats flat and you will get a whole lot of space behind to carry. When you're moving houses, you can carry a lot of space. You can carry a bicycle. There is enough space once the seats are down. You also get a full-size spare wheel. Now this is not an alloy wheel, but a steel wheel that is made available. Now to get into the car, you have two ways how you can get in the car. You can just unlock the car using the key here. It's a pretty simple standard Maruti key fob. You get a lock and unlock button, and that's it. So you just unlock the car, you can open the door, or if you don't feel like taking the key out, just hit the request sensor, car will be unlocked, and then you can open the door. Now the door opens up fairly wide for the front seat, and it's a pretty standard Maruti Suzuki door. It does not weigh up very well, it's light, and the plastics used on the car are very mediocre. They're not most premium, and other cars in the segment do offer premium fit and finish. Now here you simply have a door handle to open the door, and you have these grab pieces here. Here you have some textured finish, which is a nice touch, and there is no soft touch material here as well. It's pretty hard. You'll get a 1 liter bottle holder and some more space to hold your knickknacks, and there is a speaker right here on the door. There's a similar setup on the passenger side as well. So there are 4 speakers, one in each door. The seat is adjustable for recline and height, so you can get a nice high seating position if you like, and you can also decrease the seat height. Now the cockpit consists of this circular dials. There are 2 dials. One of them is an analog dial for the speedometer. The second one is a digital display which has the tachometer. It also gives you a real-time fuel economy. You have a clock and the fuel gauge right there. You can also have different trip meters set on the digital dial. This side you have all the telltale lights. You get the current odo, trip 1, trip 2. This will give you the real-time fuel economy. This is the average fuel economy and the range. So one good thing about the car is that you get keyless entry and go, that means you have a start-stop button. This button right here is for the auto start-stop. So whenever you are stopped at a signal or you are in traffic, the car will shut itself and it will move once you hit the clutch. In the automatic, once you release the brake and step your foot on the accelerator, the car will start. Now the controls to adjust your ORVMs are given right here. They are not on the door panel, and you can use this joypad right here to adjust the mirrors. You can also open and shut the ORVMs using this button. You get fairly basic pedals for the clutch, brake and the accelerator. There is a space to rest your foot as well, but in my opinion it's a little far behind. It should have been somewhere here so that you get easy access to the clutch. Otherwise everything ergonomically is very well for the driver. Now the steering wheel, I feel it's a little bit high, and shorter drivers might find it a little difficult to handle this steering wheel. There is no adjustable steering, so yes, that is a miss. However, it is equipped with quite a lot of functionality. You can answer and reject calls using the buttons here. You can use this button for voice commands, and you have this mode selector here for your music controls and the track selector. At the center you will find this nice floating control with a 6.5-inch display which has all the functionality which we will go over in a bit. Here you have the controls for your power windows for the front. So you get one touch down for the driver side, but it's not one touch up. The central locking is right here to unlock and lock the car. Here are the controls for the driver side passenger windows. This is the child lock for the rear windows, and also the hazard light is right in the center. If you moved below, you'll find the aircon controls. Everything is manual, there are no auto controls. This is the dial for to adjust the fan speed, temperature, the AC on off button, and the swing control of the airflow. And this is the button for the rear defogger. Right here you will get one 12-volt connector to connect a cigarette lighter, and then you can charge your devices using that, or you also have a USB connector right here with an aux input as well. Here you have some space to store your phone, two cup holders which are fairly small. They won't hold big bottles or big cups, but they are pretty enough, pretty practical. And right here is the gear shifter, which is nice and easy to hold, falls very nicely to the hand. Right here you have the handbrake, which is also very easy to operate. There's this nice satin silver finish here, which gives the car a nice look. You'll also find satin silver pieces right here on the dash and surrounding the AC vents here, and the circular AC vents on the sides. Now the plastic quality on this side, if you see, it's very hard plastic, not very nice to the touch. This centerpiece, however, has some textured finish and feels nice. The finish on this instrument cluster also is pretty mediocre. The sun visors, they do not have a mirror for the driver's side, however you get a toll receipt holder. On the passenger side you get a mirror, there's no illumination. The IRVM is pretty nice, gives a good view of what's happening at the back. It is not auto dimming, but it does have the dimming feature manually. Here you have a speaker for your Bluetooth telephony. The glove box also is fairly decently sized. It's not cooled, but it can hold a lot of stuff in here. Now the seats are made of fabric. You however get leather seats with an accessory package, but even on the top end version you get fabric seats. They look really nice, complements the all black interior in the car. Now because the interior is all black, you don't get that sense of roominess that you would get, but yes, everything looks really sporty, and that's what Maruti is actually going for. They want this car to look more sporty and appeal to the youth, which in my opinion is pretty fair, and the car looks nice with the black interiors. Now the seat does not get adjustable headrests, neither for the front passengers nor for the rear passengers, and they are decently comfortable. I won't say they are the most plush and most comfortable seats. There are cars with better seats and offer better seat comfort, but these fairly do a good job. And long drives is where you will find it challenging, like spending 6 or 7 hours in the driver's seat or in the passenger seat as well. It's going to be a little challenging. There is decent amount of under thigh support. The back support is also pretty good, but I would have liked a little more cushioning. There is some bolstering right here, so to keep you in place while on the twisties and you don't keep moving around in the seat. Now the infotainment system is the standard Maruti Suzuki infotainment system with the Smart Play features. You also get a whole lot of information right here. Here is your media controls. You can choose different radio stations and whatnot. You can also connect your phone. This does not get Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, but it does get the Smart Play from Maruti Suzuki. You can also connect your phone and media. You also get some driving information right here. Here you get the range and the average mileage, and there is a clock. Now, like I said, you also get some driving information. If you hit this button right here, you get the driving range again. Here you will get the instantaneous fuel economy. You can also check the history. So it will show you the last 5 trips and what is the mileage that the car delivered on each of those trips. These are the mileage that you will get post every refuel. So it will show you the date when the car was refueled and the mileage that it delivered. Now, don't go by these numbers, because this car in particular has been going under vigorous testing from all the media folks, and which is why the mileage numbers are different, because we really put the car through its paces while we are doing the drive testing. These are all the settings to, you know, change the display. You can change the date times, or it also gives you vehicle alerts. These are the standard settings. These are the settings for the music control, and these are the settings for your phone. Now let's move back to the rear and see how the seat comfort is there. Now the rear door also opens fairly wide, and ingress is pretty easy. The back door also has the same plastic materials. You get a door handle right here and a grab rail right here with this textured finish. You also get a bottle holder right here, which can hold a 1 liter bottle very easily. There's some space here to put in your phone or your wallet, and a speaker. Now the comfort at the back also is pretty good. So you get a lot of knee room and a lot of room under the seat as well to put your feet under. The seat in front has been set to my driving position, and even after that I have a lot of knee room. I'm sitting pretty comfortably, good under thigh support, and the cushioning on the rear seat is similar to the front, so there's nothing much different right here. However, if you see, my head does not reach the headrest, like I just have to tilt my head. So for taller passengers, resting the head on the headrest is going to be really challenging and uncomfortable, because there is no adjustable headrest. You get grab rails here. The window line is also pretty low, so you get a lot of greenhouse area. With the black interiors, this is really required to give the sense of roominess. There is no armrest. You get a 2-point seat belt for the center passenger. The car seems pretty comfortable for 2 people and a child at best, though you can seat 3 people with brushing shoulders, but I would not recommend you go for long drives with 3 people. 4 passengers, like 4 adults and a child, will be best in the rear seat. Now if you look at the floorboard, it's not flat. There is a transmission tunnel right here, and passengers sitting in the center will find it really difficult to put their feet, and they will be fighting with the side passengers for leg space. So 4 adults and a kid is the ideal number of passengers who can travel in this car. Here you have a magazine holder pocket, which is available only on the front passenger seat. Also, there is no light for the rear passengers. To control your power windows, you have the buttons right here. There's no one-touch operation, so you just have to hold them on to open and shut them. Now let's drive the car and see how it performs. So now we are driving the Celerio AMT version, which is a 5-speed AMT gearbox, and like any other Maruti AMT gearbox, this also performs in the same way. Now this gearbox is very good for the city driving conditions, and it's a very easy to drive car. You don't have to work the gears much, but on the highways, getting a move on, when you want to make that fast overtake, the gearbox does disappoint in that aspect, because you really have to put your foot down to get the power on, and then the gear to shift down, and then you get the move on. However, if you want to get a quick move on, you can simply slot it into manual mode and then shift down, so that you could get that power on tap, make your overtake, and then move back to automatic mode. Now the car performs really well in the city considering traffic conditions. So if you're someone who is going to be driving the car a lot in the city, you will love this gearbox, and it's a very easy to drive car. Anyone in your family, someone who has recently learned to drive, anyone can drive the car very easily. one notable thing, like if you just noticed, is that when the gear shifts up, you do get that jerk, which is a characteristic of the AMT gearbox. So when you're buying an AMT car, you basically are accepting that the gear shifts are going to be jerky, and not only the driver but all the passengers in the car are going to feel that slight jerk. Besides that, the engine is very smooth. There is no engine noise. The NVH levels are pretty low, and the noise creeps in only after about 3,500 RPM. If you are below that, the cabin is pretty well insulated, and you will hardly hear any tire or road noise as well. In terms of handling, the car is pretty good to handle on the highways. The suspension is a bit on the stiffer side, so if you're going over bumps and undulations, you are going to feel it at lower speed. At high speeds, however, it's fairly well contained because it's a stiffer suspension, and you will be pretty happy. It will actually glide over bumps and little potholes, and you will not feel it when you're at higher speeds. However, when you're driving in the city and you go over bumps, speed bumps, rumblers, or potholes, they're going to be very prominent, and everyone in the cabin is going to feel that. Now, Maruti is making tall claims for the fuel efficiency. They're saying that the car can deliver about 26 kmpl, which is very ambitious in my opinion. And however, driving the car for some time, the last couple of hours, what I've noticed is getting an average of about 21-22 kmpl is very easy with this car, even when you are going hard on the throttle. And obviously when you're going on the highways, it's going to be very smooth. If you're going a lot in the manual mode and you're shifting down, the efficiency is going to go down. However, in the city driving conditions, when you're not doing much with the gearbox, you will easily get 21-22 kilometers to the liter with this car, which is a very good thing given the prices of petrol right now, and you really need a fuel efficient car. The brakes on the car are also pretty decent. They have enough initial bite and enough stopping power as well. And you get 2 discs in the front for the front wheels, and you get drum brakes for the rear, and they do their job pretty well, no complaints there. The tires are also pretty grippy. I wouldn't say they are very confidence inspiring at high speeds. I wouldn't recommend going at very high speeds in this car because it's a fairly light car, but doing 100-120 kmph would be comfortable with this car. You should not be taking the car above this for safety reasons. And talking about the steering wheel also, it's pretty accurate. The car will turn in the direction that you point it at, and it weighs up nicely as well. I would have liked a little more feedback with the steering. Another thing about the steering wheel is the steering height. Now, this is not adjustable for height or reach. It's a fixed steering wheel, and shorter drivers might find this steering wheel a little bit high to their liking, and maybe they'll have to sit more closer to the steering wheel, which could be a problem for shorter drivers or lady drivers. Maruti should have provided at least an height adjustable steering. The engine of the Celerio AMT is pretty smooth, and where it's most comfortable is the 2000 to 3000 RPM band, and it will pick up enough power and get you to cruising speeds in no time, in fairly very little time, especially on the highways. And it likes to be driven around, if you're cruising around 80 and 100, it's going to be really effortless, and you will enjoy the drive. The car also feels pretty stable in those speeds. At higher speeds, you will not find the car very confidence inspiring. So the best cruising speed for the Celerio will be in the 80 to 100 bracket. That's where it drives the best, is what I would say. Other than that, it's very comfortable, very easy to drive in the city. And yes, anyone who is starting out, who has just started driving, this car can be their first car, and they can actually learn to drive, get more driving experience with this car, because it's a fairly easy car to drive. Now we're going to move to the manual Celerio and we'll let you know how that car performs. Now we are driving the 5-speed manual Maruti Suzuki Celerio, and as compared to the AMT version which we drove earlier, this is quite responsive. It's better in terms of response, the pickup, and the acceleration is pretty good. In terms of the ride and handling, it's very similar to the AMT version. There is no difference. The only difference here is there is no hill hold assist, and the gearbox, the gear shifts are pretty smooth, they're pretty accurate. The gear throws are also short, and it's fairly easy. The clutch action is pretty light. You won't have any stress while you're driving, even the manual gearbox. Of course, the AMT is the one to go if you are going to spend your time in a lot of traffic for your office commutes. But if you are someone who would like to take the car on long highway drives, I would suggest you go with the manual gearbox because it is far more responsive than the AMT. Now, in terms of power figures, both the AMT and the manual get the 1 liter K10C series engine, which puts out 66 bhp of power and 89 Newton meters of torque. So these power and torque figures are pretty decent for the car of this size, and even with a full load you should not have any trouble driving the cars. Also, places in ghats, when you are going uphill, you won't face any challenges. The power delivery of the manual gearbox is also pretty good. It has a good mid-range performance, and if you go over 2500 rpm, that's where the meat of the power comes in. And you can also amble around in an higher gear. So like if you are in the 4th gear, you can still amble around in city traffic about 35 to 40 kilometers per hour speeds, and you won't have any challenges and there won't be any engine knocking. It's a pretty silent engine, and even the manual one, the cabin is pretty well insulated. You will hardly hear the engine. It's pretty smooth to drive, and it does not stress out. If you go over 3,500 rpm, that's when you will feel the need to shift. Otherwise, it's a pretty tractable engine. In terms of mileage now, since we are testing the car in rigorous conditions, like we do speed runs, and we don't really drive in an idle way that one would drive a car, which is why the economy figures that you saw earlier were pretty less. It's showing around 15 kmpl, but in real world conditions you should get about 20 to 22 kilometers to the liter very easily. You might also get a little more than that, but yes, 20 to 22 kilometers to the liter is the ideal fuel economy of both the manual and the AMT gearbox. What adds to the economy is the auto start stop function, which works really well in this car. So when you're stopped at a signal, at a standstill, the car will cut off the power, and in the manual you just need to hit the clutch and the car engine will start. In the AMT version, you just need to release the brake and tap the accelerator a little bit and the car will start. So all in all, it's a pretty decent car to drive, and if this is going to be your first car, it's going to provide you all the comfort and features of a car and give you enough driving fun as well. The ride is a little stiffer, so you will have fun on the highways, but I would have liked the car to have a softer suspension, simply because this car is going to be used mostly in the city, and in the city at slow speeds, when you go over a bump, you do feel it in the steering wheel and on the seats as well. So yeah, that's one change I would make to the car. If this had a little softer suspension, it would have worked wonders for it. Now, the Celerio is all in all a very good package for someone who is buying their first car and really wants to start driving, learn driving, practice driving. It's a very good car for them. especially the automatic, the AMT version is a very easy car to drive. And if you're just out of the driving school and you're starting to drive, it can be a very good first car. If you are someone who is a little enthusiastic and do not want to be held back by the AMT gearbox, you can go in for the manual, which is quite responsive, and the gear throws are very nice, precise, and you will get some amount of performance from the car as well. Obviously, it is not a performance car, it is not a driver's car, but yes, if you are someone who wants a little bit of performance, I would recommend you go for the manual. Now, in terms of driving, it is a pretty easy to drive car, like I said, and the ride quality is also good, especially on the highways. The suspension is a little stiff, and in slower speeds, you are going to feel the bumps inside the car. In terms of pricing as well, the new Celerio is priced a little higher than the outgoing car. It starts at 4.99 lakhs and goes all the way up to 7.1 lakhs for the top end AMT version. There are 4 different variants that you can choose from: the LXI, VXI, ZXI and ZXI Plus. The 5-speed manual transmission is standard for all the 4 variants, whereas the AMT is available starting with the VXI variant. There are a lot of accessories and customization options as well, which are available on the Maruti Suzuki Arena website. You can go ahead and check those out and customize. So basically, you can customize the car to your liking. You can change the wheels, the seats. You can also have some graphics based on what your liking is. So all in all, it is a pretty decent car, and if you're looking for a car which in a budget of within 6 or 7 lakhs, you can check out the Maruti Suzuki Celerio. What plays in its strength is also the claim mileage is 26.6 kilometers to the liter, which is fairly high. We have not been able to test that, so when the car comes to us for a full review, that's when we will be able to do a full mileage test and tell you if the numbers are true. However, in my driving experience for the time that I have the car, I can tell you that getting 22 to 23 kilometers to the liter is going to be fairly easy with this car, both on the manual and the AMT versions. In terms of safety, the car gets ABS, EBD, brake assist, dual airbags, pre-tensioners and force limiter, speed sensitive door lock and hill start assist with the AMT variant. So the hill start assist is exclusive to the AMT variant, but the manual transmission will get all the other safety features. The Celerio is available in Arctic White, Silky Silver, Glistening Grey, Solid Fire Red, Caffeine Brown and the Speedy Blue color that you saw in the video. That being said, let us know what do you think about the all new Maruti Suzuki Celerio. What do you think of the prices? What do you think about the design that Maruti has gone for with this car? In my personal opinion, I feel the Desire and Alto went on a date and had a baby, and Celerio was the result, but that's just me. Let us know what do you think about the design of this car, and go ahead and fill in the comment section with your thoughts. Subscribe to Motoroids, hit that bell notification, and whenever you're searching for automotive content, always use Motoroids in your search so that you can find our long format videos easily. This is Vipul signing off. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, rev hard, rev free and drive safe.